Today we're going to be using a soap brand that maybe you've never heard of, as well as a new blade. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. It's so good to be with you this Wednesday morning. And today, as announced, we're going to be using a new soap, and this is by Oaken Lab out of Jakarta, Indonesia, and this is called Afield. This was sent to me to evaluate by West Coast Shaving. So I always like to get that out there up front. And please don't run away just because you see another one. It was sent to him. He's going to have a glowing endorsement of it. Look, I'm going to call it straight regardless. So please stay tuned. I encourage you to listen, especially if you're interested in this soap. So let's talk about the soap a little bit. Really nice scent. This is a woodsy scent. Now, it's a nice woodsy scent. Cedar is primarily what I get. Scent strength, I call it about 4.5, slightly under medium. It's really not my kind of scent, but if you like woodsy kind of scent, and really this is what it reminds you of when you think of the scent, this might be the type of soap that you would enjoy. It's really not a scent that I enjoy because I enjoy brighter citrusy scents, but this one is, in its own right, a nice woodsy type scent. So again, this soap comes to you from Jakarta, Indonesia. And the cost is $25 for 4 ounces. On our cost chart right there, that's over $5 an ounce. So that's pretty doggone expensive. I would imagine some of that is just the shipping from Indonesia to the United States, because it's just, it's probably fairly costly to get this in. This is sold at West Coast Shaving. By the way, it's the first time I've ever heard of this brand. I've never used it. One of the things that I would note is the top of this is tin, and so most likely over time this is going to get banged up. I don't really care for that. You know how I feel about tins and shaving soaps. They just typically don't agree. This will get dented over time, but the bottom is plastic, durable, no problems with that. The ingredients, some of the notable ingredients I wrote down here: coconut oil. Now interestingly, this label about 3 ingredients over says yogurt, but on the West Coast Shaving website and the Oaken Labs, it does not say yogurt, so I don't know if maybe that's a misprint or whatever, I'm not sure. But it has cocoa butter, lanolin yogurt. I'll put the ingredients as they appear on the website right there for you. And so there's your notable ingredients. The scent, again, just woodsy. That's the easiest way I could describe it. You get cedar and woody. It's more of a fall type scent, which are just really generally not for me, and it is quite pricey. So for the blade today, we're going to be using for the first time the Osiris Bladeworks. I'm calling this Ronan, and the reason I'm calling it Ronan is because the colors remind me of Ronan. Let me put a shot of Ronan right there, and then we'll put this razor sort of next to it, and that's why I'm calling it Ronan. It's just got sort of that dark vibe. I really like it. 2/3 of the Super Friends have used this razor. Do you know who the Super Friends are? Let's put that picture up right there. And there you see Jack from the Virtual Groom Room, Superman Kai Triska, and you see the Chief as Aquaman. So the Chief and Kai Triska have owned this razor previously, and I got it from the Chief. He just recently sold it to me for a great price. Thank you, Chief. So again, from here forth, we refer to Jack, Kai, and the Chief as the Super Friends. And so there you have it. We asked about creating a sort of a nickname for that trio a few weeks ago, and that's the best one that I thought that someone came up with. I'm sorry for fumbling around with my words. So the lather on this, it did come up quite creamy. Let me show a pic of when I first lathered it. And sometimes I make this lather and then it sits for a while and it doesn't look as good as when I first make it. We're working off of 24 hours growth here, just standard growth. And this is our first time using a 9/8 blade. By the way, this blade is, what is the technology? I wrote it down there. Sanmai, which is sort of like layered steel, as I understand it. And it's really nice. Again, Osiris Bladeworks. I'm calling it Ronan because it just sort of has that color scheme, or at least that I think it does. Let me know below what you would call it, or if you agree that it kind of fits that Ronan color scheme. I think it does. It's a really nice blade, big blade. I don't know how it's going to go using a blade of that size. Honestly, I'm not super attracted to these giant blades, but this one hopefully will be manageable for me. We'll see. It's first go. So the soap on the skin feels quite nice. By the way, we're using our Rudy Vade. This was a custom that was sent to me by Tim Berger years ago. And the reason I'm using this is for Wesley Allen. So Wesley Allen, if you're out there, this has an original Plaisson knot. Let me show you the end of the brush in a pic, because you never can see it on the camera. Maybe you can see it there a little bit. We used to refer to the Plaisson as the brush of the gods because there was a lot of fighting amongst the natural hair users and synthetic and so on and so forth. So we called it the brush of the gods, and Tim Berger had that brush made for me using original Plaisson knot. So let's see how we do here. This is straight razor shave number, what are we at? We are at 46. This has a Max Sprecher edge on it, which is quite comfortable. I can tell that already. And I would expect this edge to be first rate because Max Sprecher is a guy who makes, custom razors. So you would assume that he's someone who definitely is on his game for honing. He didn't make this razor, but he honed it. The chief had it sent to Max Sprecher for honing. And it's got a really nice smooth edge. So let's rinse that off there. No problem with that blade on that side anyway. Super, super smooth. I would expect no less from, someone who has the reputation that, Max Sprecher has, which is of a top level craftsman. It is a very good edge. It is cutting like nobody's business. Very easy. And I think I'm understanding now why Kai and some of the guys like these heavier blades. You just really sort of lay them on your face and move them down. And this is one of those cases where it's almost true that the weight of the blade actually does the work. In many cases, they talk about the weight. Just use the weight of the razor or the blade. And a lot of times that's just not true. Because some force is required, but on this one, hefty blade, super sharp, getting the job done very, very well. Very nice, very nice. The soap performed quite well on that first pass. No problems from a quality basis. I'm not seeing any problems at all. Let's see how we do on residual slickness. Pretty good there. I wouldn't say it's superb on residual slickness. Based on that pass, but plenty good enough. The question that we're always trying to answer when we use a soap like this is, would we pay with our own money, if given the opportunity, whatever is being charged for it? Even when a soap is sent to me, that's what I'm trying to answer for me, and then you all can take it into consideration. And we don't know until we use it, but from a quality basis, it is perfectly fine. Is it worth $6.25 an ounce? I don't know. Honestly, not sure. There's not very many soaps that I'll actually pay that for, quite frankly. So my initial feeling is no. And I realize that a lot of times people don't really care what soap costs per ounce. I do. And, I call it like I see it. And this is one of those things where anytime someone sends a product to me, I always insist that I speak with absolute candor. And Abraham at West Coast Shaving, that's the reason he sends them, is he knows good or bad. And so this one for me right now, I'm not feeling it in terms of spending that kind of money. I mean, we're going to complete the shave, but it doesn't impress me for $6.25 an ounce. And, that's just my feeling about it at this moment. That could change. So, let's continue to use it. But it definitely lathers easily. And so from that perspective, I'd say it's nice. But the scent obviously wasn't going to be a scent that would blow me away under any circumstance, because I'm not a woody or woodsy type scent person. Yeah, this is a magnificent edge on this blade. It doesn't really require much pressure at all. Sometimes with the little 5/8, especially the modern Productions razors, I feel like I have to horse them a little bit. Not the case with this one. This one has enough heft and oomph behind it that you don't really need to apply much pressure at all. Let's see if I can stretch here. But I will say the soap is performing as I would expect it to. You know, it's performing well. I'm not getting elite performance from it personally, but it, you know, it's perfectly adequate. I would say it's probably a good quality soap. It doesn't strike me as great, top quality, $6 an ounce soap. And that's just my feeling about it. Other people may try this and feel that it's first rate. You know, opinions vary. But it certainly is a decent quality soap. There's no question about that. It's going to do the job. The edge on this razor is really tremendous, so I would have to agree with the Super Friends that Max certainly has a top rate edge. There's no question about that. I'm trying to use that. I keep forgetting how to do the Doug Bear method there. Really nice edge, really nice razor. Again, this is Osiris Bladeworks. Oops, I dropped my towel. That's all right. We have a couple of towels for that reason. I rinse and then I wipe a little bit. Okay, let's go with a little bit of a cleanup pass here. Scent on this soap, again, woodsy, cedar. It's a nice woodsy scent, that I can say about it. Would it be a scent that I would buy? No. It's not my type of scent, but it's certainly a soap that I think people are going to be attracted to because you've probably never heard of it. It's one to try, you know. I don't like the fact that the top is tin. I think that's going to look bad over time. I don't like the $6.25 per ounce, but honestly, if we factor that in, you know, it's coming from Indonesia, that probably brings it down, you know, to a more reasonable price. So if we brought that down, it probably seems a lot more reasonable, if not for that shipping that I'm sure West Coast Shaving has to pay. By the way, I do appreciate Abe at West Coast Shaving for letting me try this. But it's one of those things where, you know, it's always a double-edged sword because, you know, I'm going to call it like I see it regardless. And I always say that if no one ever sends me another thing, that's okay. You know, I understand. But I have to be honest. It's the only way I know to do it. And people keep coming back here for that purpose. And so I'm never going to sell out just because, you know, there's a free product, which I'm going to give this one away. So that's going to be a win for you guys. That'll be down the road because I already have a giveaway going on right now. Okay, let's finish this shave up. Let's get another across the grain pass here on my neck. Very nice razor here. Thank you, Chief. Would I want to go bigger than this blade? Never, not under any circumstance. This is 9/8. That is the absolute maximum for me. Getting lather on my hand, which is very slippery. Let's wipe that off a little bit. Oh, I didn't mean to go that far. I'm supposed to be going across the grain there, and technically I am. I'm supposed to be going across the grain on the neck and then across the grain on the cheeks is this way. So I'm screwing up there a little bit, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and finish this part. Tell you one thing, I can see why the Superman Kai Triska likes these big blades because you really don't have to do much but lay it on the skin and move it a little bit. Whereas, like I said, with the other blades, some pressure is required. So I can see why he likes them. I wouldn't go any bigger than this though, just me. Very nice. Absolutely no feedback on this razor because it is a big, beefy blade. The Sprecher edge is extremely smooth, which I value a lot in a blade. That's what I want, smooth. Obviously, it's got to be sharp as well. But normally, it's hard for things to be sharp if they're not smooth. Like, it's hard for something to be dull and smooth. I guess it could be, but typically you don't find a lot of that. Okay, let's get going over here. We're also going to be using the splash today. Wow. Awesome blade here. Just no question about that. It may not be a Sprecher, but it's a good blade. I think I saw, I'm sure I saw 326. Ken Klitschko also bought a Osiris off Superman Kai Triska. So the super fans are unloading their non-Sprecher customs. And I'm calling them the Sprecher brothers as well as the super friends, because they seem to be unloading those non-Sprecher blades and going almost exclusively to Sprechers. I think they have some vintages and stuff, but they really love the Sprechers, and you know, judging from this edge, I can see why. It is a fantastic edge. There's just no question about it. Absolutely superb. Okay, let us rinse. We'll come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this soap, and then we'll also get into the splash. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back with our Lancaster towel. I don't know when the drop will be for this, but great towel. And I know you're seeing it a lot, and it's for good reason. It's a really good towel. Okay, let's get straight into our witch hazel real quick. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the soap, which is, again, this is Oaken Lab. Far Afield. Scent, if you like woodsy, cedar, it's not one of those really sharp only cedar. There's some other sort of rounding in there too. It's not just cedar, but it's overall a woodsy scent. What you see there, you know, to some degree, think about being out in the woods. It's pretty much what you get. Not my kind of scent. The quality, I think it's what you would expect of any soap out there. From a known artisan these days. Is it stellar or elite? In my book, it's not stellar or elite. It is very good, but everything's very good. Is it a standout in my view, quality-wise? No. Is it good? Yes. Things I don't care for. I don't care for that tin. That's just a personal preference of mine. If you don't mind, you know, great. The scent, again, not my sort of scent. And it's pretty expensive at $6.25 an ounce. But if you consider it's coming from Jakarta, Indonesia, that's going to add to the price. So if you're on the hunt for a new soap and you want to try a brand that you've never tried, you might want to try Oaken Lab. I don't think there's any reason to stay away from it. Would I spend $6.25 an ounce for it? No. But that's not to say that you shouldn't. It is completely up to you. The blade today was the Osiris Bladeworks. I'm calling it Ronan, again, as you see, Ronan right there because of that color scheme. I got this from one of the super friends, the Chief, and it's really, really nice. Magnificent edge. Definitely Max Sprecher knows how to push the edge on a razor. I don't think that's really any surprise. We're going to finish off today with the Oaken Lab Splash. This is non-alcohol. It's got aqua, aloe, you know. I think what you would expect typically from a non-alcohol aftershave, and let's just slap some of this on and give it a go. Again, not really my sort of scent. No burning whatsoever, which of course, no alcohol, you're not usually going to have burning, so no problem there. Let's go for another round. Mildly scented, like this is not, if you think you're just tearing into cedar, it's not that. It is a subtle woodsy scent. Smells nice, actually. It's not too woodsy for me. I actually think I prefer the scent of the splash just a little bit. Subtle woody. It's pretty nice, actually. It's not my sort of scent, but pretty nice. Again, Oaken Lab. And this will be up for giveaway soon. I already have one going on right now with the leaf, but you'll see this one soon. So I want to thank everyone so much for watching. As always, it means the world that you watch. Please give it a like, subscribe if you aren't. Until next time, I want to remind you, it's your shave, do it your way, and God bless.